This is the story of how I got my first job in radio. From childhood, I was always interested in TV and movies and a little bit in radio. And when I left high school, I had planned to go to college and major in journalism, ostensibly to become a newspaper writer. I first enrolled in Tyler Junior College. They had no campus housing, so I was in a house with 5 total roommates. 4 of us were in the back. One guy was in front. He had already been through college and was working at the local radio station. Now, occasionally we would visit him during the evening show, and I guess I just became enamored of all the knobs and buttons and dials and switches. Well, eventually he allowed a couple of us to come in, play around in the recording studio, and that's when I got my first taste of what it would actually be like to be on the air. At that time, to get a job in radio, you had to have an FCC license. It was the FCC third class radio telephone license with a broadcast endorsement. With that license, you could operate any AM station under 10,000 watts and pretty much any FM station as well. So I went to Dallas to the FCC office. I took all 3 tests, and to my surprise, I passed them all on the first try. So being now emboldened, I looked around Dallas-Fort Worth for all the AM stations under 10,000 watts that I could legally operate. FM wasn't really a thing in 1970. When I went to the stations, I left my crude audition tape, hoping to have it listened to by anyone, someone, anywhere. Then one day I visited my hometown station, KFJZ, which was the top 40 station in town, the station that I had listened to as a kid.
Turn your mind on, baby. Feel the fun vibrations of Radio Fort Worth, KFJZ.
I walked in and they walked me back to see the AM program director, a man named Lee Randall. He listened to my horrible audition tape and suggested that I might want to meet the FM program director. Now, I had never listened to that station and was barely aware of its existence. The FMPD's name was Lee Miller, and he was on the air when I was walked back to see him. It was a format called Beautiful Music. Lee was the kind of guy that was really an old-time radio announcer, or an old-school radio announcer. He would actually be on the mic like this. He never used headphones. He would actually talk like this, and he showed me how and why to do it. He also told me that they had an opening for an announcer. The first thing he did was quiz me on some of the artists that they played and how the names were pronounced, and I knew them all because my parents listened to that kind of music. And even when I went to a record store or a record department in a department store, I would rifle through all of the songs and albums, and I was familiar with lots of different genres of music. Because of that, Lee hired me on the spot for weekends, Saturday and Sunday, noon to 6. So now, not only did I have my first job in a top 10 market, but I was in the same building with all of the folks that I listened to on KFJZ, and through the affiliated TV station, some of the folks that I watched on kids shows as a kid. As the summer started, the FM station started a new program playing softer music, basically music to make love to, interspersed with some poetry cuts from a man named Rod McEwen, who had done a number of albums with a group called the San Sebastian Strings. The show was called Moon River, and I was given the job of handling that entire show 5 nights a week. After that summer, I went back to Tyler. I worked weekends on the country station and made plans to go to Texas Tech and change my major from journalism to telecommunications. Fun fact, one of the requisite courses at Texas Tech was Radio Broadcasting 101. It was held at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I slept through a lot of those classes, so much so that I flunked Radio 101. These are stories that I've been wanting to tell for a long time. I hope you enjoy them. If you do, hit that subscribe button, the like, the notification bell, and thanks a lot for watching. For now, that's a wrap.